Welcome to ID Tech TV. I am your host, Matt Borgard. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about horns. In this episode, we're going to be talking about both right and left. Now, this is a prelude, and the reason why I'm using this car as a reference is because it's incredibly hard to mount a horn in this car because, one, the computer is on the floor, and two, we have computers on this side. On the driver's side, we also have issues with fuse holders and, of course, a clutch. This adds to more of our misery. So the first thing we have to do is figure out how to mount both the driver and the passenger side. But the driver's going to be the harder of the two. Usually I go for the passenger side, but in this case I'm going for the driver's side. As you can see, there's a dead pedal here, then the clutch, and as you can see, the metal bracket for the clutch swings up. Now, this horn is just one of my prototypes that I use all the time for installing. But as you can see here, a large round disc area for the mount. When we put it up, it gets right there next to where the clutch pedal sits, up in the corner. And so that's going to be a problem with mounting. As you can see in the white marks up there, that's where it's actually been scraping. So what I've come up with is that I'm going to mount the horn all the way up here, just like this, as just setting it up. It's actually going to sit all the way up to the edge line of where this fuse holder is. So that means that the actual plastic pieces here will have to be modified for this car. On the passenger side, we have a similar problem where these boxes are in our way. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove both of these computer systems. You know, this one here, I'm not too sure what this one is off the top of my head, but I can easily slide this up, or I can move it back here on the floor where the rest of the computer parts are, down here. The second one here, this is the ABS unit for obviously the ABS, and so I've got to figure how, or if this is going to get my way, because the horns will be mounted just like this. Now, what we can see here is that I mapped out some stuff. I had to work on this for a little bit. I've been pondering the particulars of this install for the past 20 minutes or so. Now, there were two boxes here. There's an ABS control, which is right here. There's another one that's now behind the computers on the floor, and I just temporarily put it in here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take this whole mechanism out. I've got to cut out a section here on this plate so I can get it in here. And the computer starts in about right in this, right across that line there. So the motor's going to be hanging downwards on this one, because going up it's kind of hard to do because of the blower casings where it's positioned at in this car. But mainly the two things I had to do was to move this one and to move the other one, which is, like I said, behind here. But now I need to modify the brackets that are on here. So I'll remove the brackets off these pieces and pull the whole computer system out of the car. I know a lot of you will be thinking, well, that's pretty drastic to do so, but in reality that is sometimes what you have to do in a horn install. The safety protocols to this would be to make sure that you disconnect power to the car so that you don't have any power sources to the vehicle when you fire this up, so the computers won't think, you don't have to reset them or do anything, because I'm going to be disconnecting the ABS control and I'm going to be disconnecting the main computers in the car. So that way we don't have to reset anything, and none of the dash lights will come on. Alright, here in this area we can now see the area that I cut out on the floor piece. You can also see that the actual boxes are here and here, are located in these two locations. And so we now have all the room in this area to do what we needed to do, which is very nice to have. For the horn, actually it's going to sit, all the body structure is actually going to sit right here, because you can see the blower casing. And even with all this cut out, I'm still going to touch right there, because the actual horn motor is right, I mean the end of the horn is about right on top of this corner, but giving this little ½ inch of clearance here, and then when the carpet's down and all that stuff, I end up with just a perfect area to fit the motor structure right in here. So sometimes you will have to go to not an extreme. I wouldn't consider this extreme because I actually did no modifications to anything. There's no, the computer. This is, like I said, this is the ABS unit. And all I did was turn it up on its side, and it's pinned in this area, so it's not going to actually move. And then the other computer, which I'm pretty sure is door lock controls, is actually behind the main computer, the CPU itself. And so this whole time to do all this, probably 15 minutes, 15-20 minutes or so, between pulling everything out, disconnecting all the computers, cutting everything appropriately, you know, shaving this down so it's not sharp and stuff. Other than that, that was it. I mean, I would say probably 15-20 minutes tops to do all that. But as you can see, there's still plenty of wire, all the factory wires in there without any modifications. The plugs are still on the wall. And now I'm just going to go ahead and mount the horns. Alright, we have the horn installed right now, and I'm about to take this back apart and show you how this was actually done. Now if you notice, right here at this edge line, you see the gap change as it goes? I was just busy here explaining to Eugene that this is actually something that the factory does. It's an optical delusion that they raise this piece up like this, and so when you put the horn in and put it in level, the horn will actually be lower on one side or higher on one side. And that is very normal, but the actual horn itself is parallel to the floor, which is what we want. You'll see here we've got bracketing now, very simple bracketing. Bent it to shape the horn body so it maximizes the strength that I get out of the bracket. As you can see, I've done 3 in each one. One of the reasons why I do multiple screws is because this being urethane, yes, you can still tap it, but it's not, the material is urethane, so you have to consider that your amount of pressure that you can apply to that screw is only so much. So multiple screws are your better choice than a single screw. One of the other things that I did here was I actually taped the whole motor up. As I explained to Eugene, this is something I learned a long time ago, that if you don't do this, you'll end up with metal all wrapped around here, and then the actual metal will get inside the diaphragm and you'll end up having to pull the whole thing apart and clean it. So my suggestion to everybody is to tape the outside, and also, as you can see here, this is taping across the throat opening, so that way no metal debris can get in here. Because when you're doing this work, you'll get a lot of stuff down in here. It'll be metal, all sorts of either metal or debris or anything else along with it. Now, again, like I said, I've got a bracket structure here, you know, going across here, using speed clips, which I'll show you what a speed clip is in just a minute. Very nice little toy to have. But anyway, so there are 3 bolts here, you know, with speed clips attached in the backside, strap across here, using the factory bolt. Sorry, a little light here. Using a factory screw, which is actually a bolt. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, there's a bolt right here, and then an L bracket with, again, speed clip here, and then of course rear bracket, which is attached, comes around the back side, and using the bolt that actually holds the motor on, I've got it attached here. So, and this gives you, well, I mean, when I say strong, I'm talking strong structure. This will not, you can kick it, do whatever you want to, you'll never make this horn come down. But between the two, you look at the 2 horns, you know, you can see there's the passenger side and driver's side, and they're, you know, they're about the same height. They're just slightly off from each other. This is, again, the car has variables, and you have to live with those variables. But other than that, that's it for now. We will be doing grill structures and finalization of install of the horns on a later date.